and welcome to today's webinar, Why Brands and Retailers Love On Demand. My name's Andrew Talbot, and I'm going to take you through a whistle-stop tour of why we think brands and retailers are falling in love with the on-demand business model. So, on-demand explained, I think almost my favourite way of explaining it is sell before you buy. So ultimately, as a retailer or brand, you can actually sell something, get the money before you have to buy it. So it's a great model. It can apply to existing designs. It can apply to designs you've never stocked. It can apply to personalized and photo upload products. Increasingly, it now applies to cut and sew products, or even standard SKUs, just things that are stocked but not stocked in your warehouse. So that, in a nutshell, is on demand and why people do it. I won't stop the webinar at this point, but that's the case. So one of the first things in today's world, and particularly the fashion industry, which is obviously where our business is predominantly focused, is sustainability. You know, there's a lot of water pollution caused by the fashion industry, the world's second biggest polluter. And perhaps even more sad is obviously something like 20% or 30% of clothing, depending on what figures you look at, never gets sold. It just ends up in landfill, and it's wasted energy. So, and equally, the other thing nowadays that happens is a lot of product is produced in countries not close to your own. So there's a huge carbon footprint in flying them back to your country. And obviously what On Demand does, because it automates production and reduces the impact of labour costs, it makes it much easier to produce near shore or onshore even, as they call it. So the sustainability angle of what On Demand offers is perhaps the #1 driver in the world today. But as I go through, you'll see why brands love it, because if that wasn't a big enough a debate, I've got about 10 other points that are equally powerful. So one of the most common and interesting one nowadays, I don't know if everybody's seen the statistic that 60% of e-commerce, or 50%, depending on where you look, is now going through marketplaces. So you have to look at new channels. Brands and retailers like the concept, controversial, but it needs to be mentioned because it's part of the model of going direct to retail. Licensors or retailers can become their own marketplace. You know, I won't read the whole slide for you, but perhaps an easy way to show it is if I went into our platform and we had a range of products like we've got here. It's just as easy to click a button and publish them to Amazon, or publish them to eBay, or send them to my Shopify shop, or go to Rakuten. And there are hundreds of different channels now, be they social, e-commerce platform, marketplace platform, and there'll be more coming out. So it's the job of platforms like our own to make it a click of a button to publish. So the ability to open all those new sales channels, so the number of conversations now that we're having with large brands or retailers that want to open their marketplace channel as well, is increasingly common. And the ability of using that button we just saw to publish to other retailers and allow retailers to take advantage of your on-demand channel if you're a brand is equally powerful. And I did say it was going to be a whistle-stop tour, so we'll talk at the end of the presentation. It'll only take us about 10 more minutes to go through it, and we're more than happy to go through any of these areas in more detail. So kind of wider choice, less stock. It doesn't sound possible, but obviously in the on-demand world, because you don't print until you've sold, you can actually set up, and it's really easy to set up. So let me give you an example here. We call them virtual products. So what platforms like ours do is coordinate all the different blank product types that are available, allow you to select that product, and then we can literally go in and drag our designs onto it, put them around, and I'll show you in a minute how we can add a design onto multiple products. And it's so easy for anybody, even without design skills, to start to create their own products nowadays. Just really showing you, what's feasible, what's possible, even if I can't spell the word image. How easy it is to create something. So that's what we call a virtual product. That obviously never needs to be stocked. All the artwork instructions are stored, and that could then literally be published. So it could be published. If I save that now, it would add it to the screen we looked at earlier, and we would have it in our product range ready to sell. And a more advanced version of that is what we call the virtual product creator, where a brand or retailer can take an image. So let's just go and take an image from any source, grab that image, and then it uploads the image to the system. And if I then hit save, it will ask me for a name for my design so it can create all the products. Go next, and immediately it adds that design to a whole range of products. So on here, I've got accessories set up, or we could go and look at home decor. So then it will add it to a range of home decor products. And all of these are print ready and could just literally be dropped into a website. So not only is it more sustainable, gives you wider choice and lets you attack more sales channels, it also allows you to create the products very easily in an on-demand world. It's much easier to create and stock virtuals than it is to create and stock real products. The other thing that I think is fascinating with on-demand is guaranteed hits. If you think of the risk in the fashion world when you're trying to design a new collection and buy it in, and if that collection doesn't take off, that's when you get your stock problems. But obviously in the on-demand world, you can take stuff, you can try it, and you can even try it and then order bulk so you can use a combination of business models. That way, you're only ever ordering hits because you've trialed it first using the on-demand business models. So it's not just about only using on-demand, it's also about using on-demand as a strategic tool to work out what might sell the best. So exploiting social capital. This is one of the mega trends, as we call it in the corning world, of the last few years. But there's been lots of sites popped up that allow people to create their own products. But the people that have got the power is the people with the fan base. And what you'll find now, I think I put an example on our Facebook page this morning. I just posted on the custom gateway page, you can sell directly from a Facebook page. So we designed this phone case using the virtual design tools you just saw. We click the link, what we've put on our Facebook page there now, and it takes me immediately. I don't even need an e-commerce shop. I can design my phone case, auto sizing. In terms of that, when I add to cart now, it'll say, who are you? Put your credit card details in and sell it to me. So I've sold directly from the Facebook page. And the same principles apply to Instagram, Pinterest, many of the other leading social platforms. And that model, the way we set up products and use what we call the smart link, enables you to sell directly from your page. So if you've got followers, you can make money. And there's, it's just like the principle, I guess, of, when you're on YouTube and you've got lots of followers, YouTube will pay you for, the advertising that they can put around your page. So this is kind of a similar model where if you've got lots of followers, you can sell off the page. So if you just want to try a special offer or something related to an event, it's a very powerful tool. So another reason, and it's used a lot in promotions as well. The classic people that started it were Coke, with kind of share a Coke and you had your name on Coke bottles. But there's a very popular one we're involved with at the moment, Marmite. Nutella did it well. It's just very popular personalisation in terms of marketing. So it also gives you a new breed of fast fashion. Now, this is something that when I first got into this market, I didn't think was feasible, and probably not many people do. But nowadays we can use cut and sew. So, that's a traditional cut and sew type pattern. So let's just add something on there, drop onto the back, add something different onto the back. And if we go 3D preview, it will actually take that product now and it will make it visually, but more importantly, that can send the pattern straight to a cut and sew operation that can, within 24 hours, print and sew that automatically and send it to the customer. So not only are we now talking about, printed T-shirts and stuff like that, we're talking about full fast fashion. So it really will be a new type of fashion. You will literally be able to design your own garment. And we call it the micro factory, and these exist now. They're out there in the real world. So brands and retailers, I think this is something that is inevitable. So jump on the bandwagon now before it gathers momentum. Be one of the first. So facilitates backfill and restock. I think this is a very interesting model. Obviously, as a retailer or a brand, if you're out of stock and someone tries to buy on your site, that's lost sales. So the model is being used a lot now by some innovative retailers we work with to facilitate backfill and restock. And that isn't always printing on demand or using DTF and cut and sew. Sometimes it's just stock sitting in someone else's warehouse. So the concept of on demand, the virtual product doesn't have to be printed. It can be virtual stock too. So with warehousing, sitting all around the place, you're getting channels that are selling better than others. Make sure they never run out of stock. Set up virtual stock and a backfill and restock model. Moving on to one of the things that we started in this business is harnessing personalisation. There's lots of things. Customers are willing to pay more for personalised products. It allows you to, sell something different. And our plugin makes it really easy to pop these on sites. I was just going to show you an example in the football trade of, football fans love personalised merchandise, and it was easy to put on masks when they, became something that became part of our daily life. And this is our plugin here, where I can put in my name, and it immediately adds me to the picture. Go next, and it says, well, what number do you want on the shirt? So it's very easy to personalize something and almost gamify, and people would join that. So that's also part of the on-demand world. Once you've got the on-demand model set up within your website or within your sales channel, it's just as easy for someone to personalize it as to buy a stock product. So, you should harness personalization. Re-engineering the supply chain. We touched on this earlier, but there's a whole new supply chain kind of growing up. And I use the example here from our software of what I call an SLA dashboard. And what you can do, for example, is if you're a global brand or have aspirations to be a global brand, there's now printers, cut and sew operations, virtual warehouses in multiple countries. So if I'm an English company taking an order in the States, or I've set up my Amazon account in the States, I can have that order printed and fulfilled in the US. And this kind of dashboard concept even warns me, have I got any problem orders, any that are not sent, any that are outside the SLA? It can email the suppliers, remind me, even allow me to click on it and go straight to the order within the system. So we've got the tools now to help people re-engineer the supply chain and how that works. Okay, and I kind of just touched on this point, really, the global reach. I think this is one of the most exciting things. You can be active in every country in the world. If your product works and it sells in one country, why not expand the market? Move it out to the bigger markets and the different markets. It's something that's attainable now, and organizations like ourselves can introduce you to the right supply chain. as part of the wider Corney business, we've got what we call the global fulfillment network, where we've sold Corney printers over the years to people, and we now know where those printers are, because it's a system where the ink and the print files can now be controlled through custom gateway. We can guarantee the quality. So global reach, manageable, from your bedroom, is achievable. And flexible branding options. This is happening more and more with swing tags and things. But another innovation we've just introduced is, through the Corney new palette, we've introduced printing neck labels. So we can actually now print, individually branded labels. And the evolution of this, we can print a QR code or a virtual reality code within the label. So actually each garment then becomes individual. And that's the way the market's moving. Now we've got the concept of on-demand out there. There's going to be all sorts of exciting innovations and changes on that over the coming years, or even in our case, weeks. This is what we call in the UK a fag packet calculation. Often people have in the past dismissed on-demand. Oh, it's too expensive. It is cheaper. And the core purchase price is obviously cheaper, mass production. But I just wanted to kind of highlight, you've got warehousing costs, pick and pack costs, redundant stock costs, which I'm told can be up to 40%, working capital saving because you haven't had to shell out your cash up front, lost profit on the missed opportunities because you've used the backfill model. So it's actually quite easy now to justify that on demand could be even cheaper than mass production, or certainly providing a similar economic case. The other thing I was going to look at is, why are more brands and retailers wanting to go direct or vertical? It's simply because obviously the ability to produce now is getting easier. And I accept this is a controversial point. There's established supply chains, but one thing the internet has always done is broken down and disrupted these supply chains. So here we obviously want to work with everybody in the business and help everybody's business be successful. But there are elements of disruption that will happen out there in the market. So that was my whistle-stop tour, and I've managed to achieve it in the guideline with so many benefits. It is a hard ask sometimes to achieve. So how can we help you at Custom Gateway? Well, we've got the platform, as I've kind of shown you some examples of. We've got integrations with almost, warehouse systems, stock systems, account systems, marketplace systems, printer systems. And we've got the knowledge, For the on-demand space, we've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now. So we really are innovators and leaders. So we're more than happy to share that knowledge and help you, as hopefully the webinar demonstrates. We've got the fulfillment network for our parent company, Corney, where we can connect you all around the world. We're offering an increasing range of services to help, design and help people set up on-demand product ranges. And obviously, we've got market-leading systems now for printing on fabric. So we can really help deliver the whole on-demand business model. So if this has excited you, interested you, mildly tickled your interest, then please get in touch. You can email us, visit our website, join the live chat. We love talking on demand. So thank you for listening and have a good day.